Jujutsu Kaisen keeps on giving trauma to all its fans, and we know that Geiki is enjoying inflicting pain upon us with their "You Are My Special" theme song playing after every disturbing scene. But worry not, if we think we are having it rough, there's someone that Geiki hates even more, and it's obviously Itadori. The debate of who's stronger between Gojo and Sukuna has finally come to an end for good. However, we often forget about the strongest JJK character besides them. It's none other than Kenjaku, the curse user masquerading as Gojo's best friend. Let's take a look into him and how it got to this point. And of course, spoiler warning for the JJK manga and anime. My name is TK. Let's get into some anime. So, who exactly is Kenjaku? We all saw Geto in season 1 of JJK, and we got to know that Geto and Gojo used to be close, but somehow Geto is now an antagonist, making Gojo his direct enemy. We did know what came between them, but the Jujutsu Kaisen movie highlighted the fact that Geto is indeed a villain now. Although he was overpowered by Yuta, we still had no idea what made Geto turn to the dark side. Finally, season 2 began premiering and we saw some wholesome moments of Gojo, Geto, Shoko, and Rika until they decided to traumatize us with her death and make Geto slaughter a whole village and succumb to the dark side. At that point, we thought we realized why Geto turned against them, but why did he have those stitches on his face in season 1? We finally know the answer though. It's because the person we saw in season 1 was not Geto, but Kenjaku in Geto's body. Geto's life was ended by Gojo at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie. Enter Kenjaku. Kenjaku is an ancient curse user who has existed for over 1,000 years using his innate technique. What's his innate technique? An ability that allows him to transplant his brain into other people to control them. By inhabiting different bodies throughout the years, Kenjaku has survived for over 1,000 years, and the people he has possessed so far are Noritoshi Kamo, who is said to be a stain and disgrace on the Kamo family, one of the 3 most powerful families of the Jujutsu world. The second person is Kaori Itadori, the mother of Yuji Itadori. Yup, Kenjaku was inhabiting his mother's body when Itadori's father celebrated the long night to lay the foundation for his son. This weird curse user is also the father of Choso, which is why Choso didn't kill Yuji even when he had the chance during the Shibuya arc. The brothers would then reunite, but they still aren't strong enough to go against their mother/father. Finally, Kenjaku is currently inhabiting Geto's body, which allows him to exploit Geto's cursed spirit manipulation technique. Kenjaku's actual appearance is unknown, and we only see him as a brain, and the stitches over the head of his vessel's body are the only thing that can be used to distinguish him. If we talk about his personality, Kenjaku has lived for so long and under different identities that there's not much original left, or one may think that. We have seen him often acting exactly like Suguru. Kenjaku has still retained his strong core personality of being a calm, calculating person who rarely gets panicked or distressed over anything. He often has entire scenarios planned out in advance. He is an extremely manipulative and deeply egotistical individual who knows no limits to reach his goals. When it comes to things he isn't interested in, he acts uncaring and aloof. He still has a habit of drawing out small talk with everyone, including his enemies. Kenjaku is extremely arrogant, but that's alright because he has the skills to back up that arrogance. He acts superior in front of everyone, even when he knows that he's not powerful enough to face Gojo. He acts casual. You know someone is clever when he comes across both Gojo and Sukuna and yet survives. It's because Kenjaku convinces other people that they share a common goal. He managed to work with Sukuna to split his soul into 20 cursed objects, so Sukuna ended up protecting him from Gojo. We will see in the Culling Game arc that Kenjaku has convinced hundreds of sorcerers over hundreds of years to join the Culling Game as a second chance at life. Even if someone doesn't share an enemy or a common objective with him, he creates a fabricated entity to meet his goals. For example, he went to a foreign power to invade Japan just so he could have some sacrificial soldiers for his plan for the Culling Game. We have seen Kenjaku working alongside Mahito and his group, convincing them that he also wants to see a world ruled by curses. However, Kenjaku actually had no interest in this goal at all, but their interests aligned at that time, so he agreed to play their games. He still considers himself to be superior to other cursed spirits, and even when Mahito and his group are going to perish in this Shibuya arc, Kenjaku couldn't care less about them, although he regretted not being able to absorb Jogo. So what really is Kenjaku's goal? Basically, it's nothing. He's just like a cat who's curious about everything. He's not cute like a cat, but he is curious to find out the true potential of cursed energy. He believes that he can discover it by creating uncontrollable chaos. So he's a Joker of this story who only likes to create that chaos. Kenjaku revealed to Yuki Tsukumo that unlike Geto, he doesn't desire a world without cursed spirits. And unlike Mahito, he doesn't desire a world without humans. He admitted to Chozo that he plans to merge the citizens of Japan into one entity, just because it seems fun. It's like a toddler holding a crayon with a blank piece of paper, and he admitted that if that entity ended up being nothing but a funny face, it would be hilarious to him. Tengen and Kenjaku used to be friends at some point, but not anymore. Kenjaku perceives the world as the cursed one, and he knows not everyone will risk their lives while others are willing to die at any time without any hope for the future. By not being biased, he despises both kinds equally. Kenjaku is exactly the dictionary definition of evil who only likes to stir chaos and watch the world burn, which is not very far-fetched as many would like to join him and say hell yeah. Let's move on to Kenjaku's abilities and powers that make him so arrogant. Tengen and Kenjaku are the only ones who have lived for this long, and if we really want to hear some historical stories, we would obviously prefer a wanderer who likes to create chaos over some shut-in introvert. So Kenjaku is hands down the most knowledgeable and experienced curse user right now. That gives us a clear understanding of how skilled he must be overall. He's also a master at hand-to-hand combat, given that he lives through all the forms of martial arts. He doesn't rely on hand-to-hand combat a lot because rarely do opponents get close to him, but even if they do, they are in for a beating. With the knowledge of 1,000 years, no one can doubt his immense tactical intellect, and as stated already, he excels at manipulation. He is the Johann Liebert of the Jujutsu world. Kenjaku possesses massive amounts of cursed energy, and this is already evident by his effective use of cursed spirit manipulation. Even after acquiring Geto's body, he needed a lot of cursed energy to use Geto's curse technique to its full potential. And since he can do that, we know that he has the most amount of cursed energy after of course Gojo and Sukuna. After Mahito was down, he absorbed him without posing any conditions on himself. That's how strong he is. We already know that his innate technique allows him to swap bodies with another person, even if they are dead, although the transplant leaves a stitched scar on the forehead. Kenjaku can remove the top part like a hat to reveal his original brain, as he did in front of Gojo. After acquiring a new body, Kenjaku could access the host's cursed energy, their innate techniques, and their memories. Even Gojo's Six Eyes couldn't recognize him as an imposter, as he retained Geto's cursed energy. A body becomes unusable after its age is passed. That is why Kenjaku swaps the body and he finds a new one, hence living for 1,000 years. What's interesting is that even after swapping bodies, Kenjaku retains access and uses of his former host's innate curse techniques, as is in his fight against Choso and Yuki in the Culling Game arc. He used Kaoru's Itadori's technique. However, there is a limit to how much his brain can store before overloading. Around 400 years ago, Kenjaku transplanted his brain into an unknown person's body and used it to make binding vows with past sorcerers, particularly Hajime Kashimo. He then acquired the body of Noritoshi Kamo. He earned the poor lad the title of being the stain on the Kamo's family name. He did experiment with the fusion of human flesh and curses while inhabiting Noritoshi's body and creating the death paintings. The Cursed Womb death paintings are 9 special grade cursed objects with mixed blood of both a cursed spirit and a human. Choso, Eso, and Kechizu are 3 known death paintings. After Noritoshi, at some point in the past, Kenjaku's curiosity led him to experience a female vessel, so he transplanted his brain into the body of Jin Itadori's wife, Kaori. It is unclear how long he retained this body, but what remains clear is that Kaori was pretty. Good job, Jin. Kenjaku used this body to give birth to Yuji, and it still remains unclear why he did that. Maybe it has something to do with making Yuji powerful enough to defeat Sukuna, now that we have Gojo Satoru in 2 pieces. Finally, Kenjaku possesses the body of Suguru Geto, which might be the strongest vessel he has ever inhabited. However, Geto's memories also granted him the memories, skills, and jujutsu of the former sorcerer. Not only could he use Geto's abilities, but he gets all the information about sorcerers that Geto had. If we talk about Geto's cursed spirit manipulation, it allows the user to summon and control cursed spirits for a desired purpose. After acquiring this technique, Kenjaku absorbed numerous cursed spirits as his personal familiars, and he often deploys them to fight off multiple opponents, and bombard them with a variety of curse techniques that all possess different spirits. We saw one of these spirits against Mei Mei, Smallpox Deity, a powerful special grade curse spirit capable of casting its own domain expansion. The domain was powerful enough to corner someone as strong as Mei Mei. And if not for her brother's assistance to distract the spirit and give her a chance to finish it off, Mei Mei might not have survived. Kenjaku possesses a strong technique called Maximum Uzumaki that combines a massive number of collective curses into one powerful attack. However, Uzumaki extracts their innate cursed art when used on cursed spirits of semi-grade 1 ranking or above, so the user can only use it one time. Kenjaku first used this technique with Mahito, allowing him to gain access to idol transfiguration. This technique granted Mahito the ability to distort the shape of souls and transfigure their respective bodies as a result. The technique that he used on Junpei, and we still can't forgive him for that. Kenjaku has another innate technique called the anti-gravity system that negates gravity when used. Kenjaku primarily uses a curse technique reversal of this ability that allows him to intensify the gravitational pull around him. Kenjaku acquired this technique from Kaori Itadori, Yuji's mother. Kenjaku is also experienced in using reverse curse technique, and he used that to heal Suguru Geito's body after transplanting his brain into that body. He can also use reverse curse energy to fuel a curse technique reversal. Finally, let's talk about his domain expansion. After all, it's the most flashy move among all the other skills. Kenjaku's domain expansion is called Womb Perfusion, which takes the form of a giant pillar made up of cursed spirits. Just like Sukuna's malevolent shrine, it is an open barrier type of domain, and its effect still remains unclear. That is because Kenjaku rarely has to rely on it. After Mahito goes down, Kenjaku gains his innate technique for a one-time use, and he can reshape other people's souls and potentially himself. He will use it on Tengen's barrier to kickstart the culling game. Apart from skills, Kenjaku has another cursed object that should be talked about, especially after you use it on the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer of this era to restrain him for the rest of the Shibuya arc. The cursed object is called Prison Realm. It is a special grade object that is capable of sealing absolutely anything or anyone inside of an inescapable pocket dimension. Kenjaku successfully managed to seal Gojo on October 31st, and being the bearer of the front gate, he's the only one who has the authority to open the back gate of the Prison Realm, which has the hands of Tengen. However, not even Kenjaku or Tengen can unseal the target from the realm by breaking it open with a curse technique that can cancel or nullify other curse techniques. And what about his fights? During the Shibuya arc, we saw him fight against Mei Mei first, but it wasn't a very intense one as it wasn't a conclusive one. Up next is his fight with the Jujutsu sorcerers and Choso. He's not alone though, as Urame is also by his side. The sorcerers include Yuji, Panda, Momo, Mai, Miwa, and Atsuya. The sorcerers try to rescue Gojo from Kenjaku's prison realm. Yuki will make a heroic entry, and we will get to see how the fight concludes. Spoiler though, Kenjaku will survive. After the Shibuya arc, Kenjaku will bless everyone with a great time, called the Culling Game. He will face off with Yuki and Choso, and is going to be an intense fight. And now for the ending. Is Kenjaku actually dead? Chapter 243 has finally brought an end to Kenjaku as he lies on the ground, beheaded by Yuta, who was gifted the opportunity by Fumiko Takaba. Let's hope that this 1000-year curse user is down for good. Even in his last moments, he claimed that his will would carry on, so we will have to find out what he meant by that exactly. Alright guys, let me know what you think about this curse user. Let me know what you think about his past, present, any future plans that he may be up to, anything he may have woven into the story that we haven't been shown or revealed to us yet. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, my name is TK, loving us some anime.